Hey, what's up, y'all? This is another episode, whatever you want to call it. Frankly, my idea. Just want to do a quick recap of last night's game. The Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz. Man, I gotta say, man, the Jazz remind me a lot. They remind me a lot of the Grindhouse Grizzlies, man. Just their intensity, their style. It's not always pretty. But the thing about them is they have shooters. That Grizzlies team didn't have shooters, but they remind me a lot of that team. With Conley, Zebo, Marc Gasol, Tony Allen. Like they have that mentality that they had, that they can. You're not just gonna punk us. If the Toronto Raptors had an ounce of that, they would be better, man. They would be better in the playoffs, man. But I'll get to them a little bit later. But yeah, man. So the Utah Jazz, they stole one. I wouldn't even say they stole it. They handled the game, man. They pretty much were in control most of the game. Donovan didn't have a great game, but it's his leadership. That kind of stuff. Where that rubs off on others, man. So that really helped them. That really got them over the hump, man. And I mean, they just grinded it out. And I gotta say this, man. I've never been. I'm not gonna say a big fan of CP, Chris Paul. I'll say more so. I've always been critical of Chris Paul. I will never take away his basketball IQ, just his ability, his skills, man. But it's something about the playoffs, he just disappears sometimes. I don't see that same bulldog intensity that he has with everybody in the regular season. When he plays them, he doesn't play with that same chip consistently in the playoffs, man. And he just disappears for stretches. You don't even realize he's on the court. Of course, as a Clipper days, he would have great games, but then down the stretch, he's either hurt, which you can say no fault of his own, but availability is an ability, man. But he's not hurt right now, and he just disappears sometimes, man. And I know, Harden's been doing this thing. I know he's been playing like Superman. I've been impressed with how he's been able to maintain. He bounced back after having a couple disappointing performances in a couple games in the Timberwolves series, but CP, they brought you there for this reason, man. It's time to step up, man. You on a roster that many feel is a championship roster, man. This is your chance. So we'll see how it goes back in Utah. Like I said, they just really remind me of the Grindhouse Grizzlies, man. Even their arena, man, it's even even louder. It's even more intense. So it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be a tough series. Even if the Rockets 1-5, I think every game is going to be tough, man. They're going to come out this series a little beat up, going into the matchup with Golden State, which is, who I think they'll be playing. But yeah, man, so that's just my review on the Rockets in Utah. I'm looking forward to Game 3. So tonight, I'll roll into tonight's games. Tonight we have the Raptors. Playing the Cavs again. It's gonna be interesting to see how they start off, man. That was a heartbreaking defeat last game, man. You pretty much did everything right besides the last 10 seconds of the game, and it's just, this gonna show what y'all made of, man. If they lose tonight, I think they getting swept, man. I honestly do. It's something about them. They just, the testicular fortitude is still an old term they used to say. Testicular fortitude of the Raptors, man. They had an ounce of what Utah had. They could win this series, man. They could win a game. That's sad. I'm saying they could win a game, but it's on the stars too, man. Like DeRozan, man. I know he worked on his shot a lot this year, a lot in the off season. He's been shooting threes pretty well this year, but he gets in the game the other night, and it's the same DeRozan, the same predictable DeRozan. I'm pull up. If I ain't pulling up, but he actually wasn't pulling up a lot. He was just attacking, but then, he doing the weak-ass half spin. LeBron timed it. He almost got that steal on him around the end of the game because everybody knows DeRozan moves, even if you're not on the basketball court, and you can watch him 2 times a year and he's still doing this in the beginning of the year. He's still doing the same damn move in the playoffs. You know that he got to do better, man. And then Kyle Lowry, I've never been big on Kyle Lowry. No disrespect to Kyle Lowry. You know, he's a solid point guard. You know, I think he's only an all-star because he's in the East. But I mean, you can say that about a lot of people. You know, based off the talent in the West. But you know, I feel he was more of an overachiever than he is a star. You know, I don't consider Kyle Lowry a star like most people do. You know, he's an overachiever. Nothing's wrong with overachieving. You know, I respect that, you know, but he's not a star. Like I said before, you know, during this time of year, championship basketball requires superstars, you know. They require stars, you know, and it's like DeRozan, are you one? You know, we'll see tonight. But, you know, you haven't been conducting yourself like one whenever you run against LeBron James, you know. And it's just disappointing, man. So we'll see how they do tonight. My gut is telling me that the Cavs are going to pull it off tonight, man. I think it's going to be easier than last time, to be honest, but we'll see. You know, I'm pulling for the Raptors, but the Raptors, they just like that family member, that friend. You know, you always giving them advice, you know, and they don't listen to nothing you saying. You know, they take their advice, I got you, bro, and they don't do it, you know, and you stop believing in them. And that's how I feel about the Raptors. It's like you want to pull for them, but it's like enough is enough. You know, y'all either step up or get the hell out of the playoffs. We sick of seeing y'all get your ass whipped every year. It's frustrating. So yeah, that's my, you know, we'll see how they do. And then the next game we have the Celtics and the 76ers, you know. I think the Sixers will pull it off, you know, but it's tough. Because the Celtics, they're also a team that grinds, man. They're beyond well coached, and that's another thing with Utah too. I would say he's the second best coach in the playoffs, and Stevens for the Celtics is probably the best coach remaining in the playoffs. And it's gonna be tough, man. But I think the Sixers, I think their players' minds, I think they have short memory. They have a short memory, you know, and I think they'll perform tonight. And I've noticed with Ben Simmons, after a poor game, he normally bounces back pretty well. So you know, I'm gonna trust in him tonight. You know, he doesn't really bounce back like a rookie. You know, he doesn't get rattled easily. But we'll see, because the Celtics, man, like I said, they're well coached, and they know how to play that guy, man. So we're gonna see. And then even his last comments after the last game, I feel like he's gonna come out even more motivated to just dominate and establish himself as the alpha in this series. You know, but we'll see. You know, I think the Sixers will take this one tonight. I think that series is going to go 7. I predicted that before the series started, but it's going to be tough. I knew this would be. I feel like this is going to be the Sixers' toughest matchup in the whole playoffs, and that includes the Cavs. Well, let me take that back. In the East, I feel this is going to be the Sixers' toughest matchup, and that includes the Cavs and the Raptors. I feel like they match up pretty well with them, but I feel like the Celtics style, you know, like I say, styles make fights. That's them. The Celtics style can really dictate the tempo and rhythm of a series, of a game. So we'll see tonight. Looking forward to watching the games as much as I can. And thank you all for supporting the channel. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button. If you dislike what I had to say, dislike, you can comment. We can rap about it. But thank you to everyone who's been listening. You have a great day.